I was home alone with my dog. It was around midnight, and I decided to let him outside one last time before going to bed. I opened the front door and he went off running into the night. I then closed and locked it while I went to get ready for bed. This was pretty routine. After using the bathroom, he usually liked to walk around for a few minutes before coming back inside. As I was walking back downstairs, I could hear scratching on the door. This was how my dog would let me know he was ready to be let back inside, so I headed over to open the door. I don't know why, but ever since I was young, I've always had the habit of looking through the door's peephole before opening it. It doesn't matter the situation. I can't open the door without knowing 100% who it is. I do this, and instead of seeing my dog, I see a man with his head down, staring very intently at the door handle. I froze, my eyes still glued to the peephole. I then heard the scratching again, louder this time. It was the man. I could see his hands moving up and down against the door. He was pretending to be my dog to get me to open the door. I was worried for my dog's safety. I wanted to call the police, but I didn't think they would take me seriously. I tried taking a picture of the man with my phone, knowing I could at least make a report, but my camera couldn't take pictures through the peephole. It was too small, and you couldn't make out anything behind the glass. All of a sudden, the man lifts up his shirt and pulls out a knife. He begins trying to pick the door's lock. This went on for maybe a minute, when my dog finally noticed him and started barking. My dog isn't that big, he's actually pretty small, but he has a deep sounding bark that, mixed with the fact that it was dark and the man likely couldn't see my dog, was enough to startle him into running off. My dog retook his place at the front door, to which I quickly opened it and let him back in. It's been a while since this happened, and I've since moved to a new house. I did end up filing a police report, but they weren't able to come up with any suspects. I'm currently living in my car after being put in a poor financial situation because of some circumstances that I won't mention. I just gotten off of a long shift at work and was extremely exhausted. I parked in some random Walmart parking lot and got into the back of my car. I reached over and put the keys in the ignition so that I could keep the heat on. I laid down and fell asleep right away, unfortunately forgetting to lock my doors. Now, I've always been a heavy sleeper. It takes a lot to get me up. I remember opening my eyes, my other senses slowly coming to me. It was still dark outside, and there was this slight humming sound. I instinctively looked down one of the windows and saw trees quickly passing by. Someone was in the driver's seat, and the car was moving. They were wearing a hood, so I couldn't see their face. I slowly reached over to the passenger side back door compartment where I kept a knife. I grabbed it and abruptly pointed it at the guy. As I screamed at him, he must have seen the knife through the rearview mirror, as he didn't even look back at me before slamming on the brakes, opening the door, and getting out. He ran in a straight line directly into the forest that was covering the road on both sides. I sat there trying to catch my breath. I had no idea where I was. The best description I can give is some sketchy road in a tightly compacted forest. I unlocked all the doors, checked my phone. It was 3 a.m. I had no phone service, so I turned around and started driving back until I got some. I was 2 hours away from the parking lot I had fallen asleep in. I don't know who that guy was. I never saw his face. A part of me thinks he was simply trying to steal the car, not realizing I was sleeping in the back. How could he not have seen me? I worry it was an attempted abduction. In my early 20s, I was using Tinder a lot. Sometimes I would go out with a girl and we wouldn't connect, or I'd just get stood up. I eventually matched with this one girl who lived really close to me, like a couple of miles or something. I knew this Tinder profile must have been new because I'd already been on the app for a while, and it was getting to the point where it was starting to suggest people who were really far away. We talked for about a day and decided to go out for dinner that evening. The plan was I would pick her up and we would go from there. I got in my car and set my GPS to the address she gave me. It was an apartment complex. When I got there, I texted her asking which apartment door was hers. I drove around the open complex, searching for the right numbers until I finally got to her building. I texted her that I was parked right outside. Immediately, I got a text back insisting I come meet her at the door. I found this kind of annoying because there was nowhere close to park. I had to go a bit further.